Topics related to extraterrestrial civilizations have interested humanity from the very beginning of its existence. This is not surprising, because the idea that there may be other intelligent beings somewhere in the universe is extremely intriguing. Moreover, humanity has been trying to contact any form of life in space for a long time. As part of the curiosity related to what we said and the general topic of the episode in general, we will mention here the radio news from Arecibo. The message was broadcast into space on November 16, 1974, using the Arecibo radio telescope. Simply put, the purpose of sending this message was to inform potential other civilizations that there are intelligent life forms on Earth. The message contained information, encoded in binary code, about the structure of DNA, human appearance, the number of people on Earth, or even the place of Earth in the solar system. What is most interesting in all of this, mankind quickly received the supposed response. Of course, there were many doubts and conspiracy theories around it. The theory that it is just a stupid joke created by people to arouse great sensation has become quite popular. And here we go to GTA San Andreas and the GTA series in general, in which references to aliens are simply not lacking. In GTA 5, the developers have already gone a long way when it comes to this topic, while in GTA San Andreas, everything is shrouded in even greater mystery. The topic is really extensive, and there is simply a lot to say, so let's get down to business. The first interesting evidence related to aliens concerns crop circles. As we know, society has been debating for many decades whether the circles were created by humans in the form of a joke or sensationalism, or whether they were created by some extraterrestrials. Of course, we can find a lot of information on this topic. Usually, the most common argument that this was not an alien role is that these kinds of patterns can be recreated quite freely. Is it true? Well, it's hard to say. Some of the circles found firmly showed that this could not always be done, especially since the arrangement of the crops seemed practically impossible from a human perspective. In addition, the formation of a magnetic field was often noted in places, which, among other things, was indicated by disturbances in the compass. This probably suggested that aliens landed their ships in these places. Interestingly, in GTA San Andreas, we also have a small reference to it. Namely, a man named Vivian from Carcer City wanted to talk about crop circles. However, it did not happen in the end due to the indignation of the host, which we will hear in a moment.
Vivian is calling in from Carcer City and wants to talk about crop circles.
Oh wow, I never thought I'd actually make it on the show.
Is that because you have a girl's name? Well, here's a conspiracy. Your mom hates you.
Holy shit, how'd you know that?
Another reference to aliens on WCTR radio is a conversation with a man named Neil, who often goes to various religious demonstrations. For what purpose? Well, you'll find out from the recording that we will now play.
Next caller.
My name is Neil. I go to a lot of demonstrations to pick up religious pamphlets. None of them say anything about the aliens.
Try reading between the lines, and if that doesn't work, do some. Then you'll understand all about the aliens and just where you were planted.
As you can hear, Neil mentions that there is nothing in the brochures about aliens, to which the host of the show replies that Neil should read a bit more between the lines if he wants to discover something interesting in this area. It is also worth mentioning that in the game itself, in connection with the aliens, there is a certain concept developed by Truth, which refers to the causes of the Cold War. Some people, including the Truth, believe that it was through the aliens from outer space that everything was initiated. The Truth mentions that it was allegedly due to the snake-headed aliens who had control of the oil industry that the war lasted so long.
Listen to Jethro. Now what if I told you we never went to the moon? JFK lives in Scotland with Janis Joplin. And the only reason we've been in a Cold War for the last 45 years was because snake-headed aliens run the oil business.
I think you popped another micro dot.
Good. Keep it that way.
It seems to us that the Truth may refer to the conspiracy theory related to the so-called reptilians. The concept of the reptilians was popularized by David Icke, a conspiracy theorist. The man stated that reptilian-headed alien shapeshifters control the Earth by taking the form of a human and gaining political power to manipulate human societies. You can find these kinds of theories about Barack Obama or Donald Trump on the internet. Besides, Icke believes that many world leaders are either this alien life form or are controlled by the reptilians through so-called brainwashing. Interestingly, the head of Playback FM mentions the then US President George Herbert Bush, who is allegedly an alien, is probably a reference to the reptilians.
We praise old school hip-hop and our alien president. You know he's an alien, right?
Another alien institution occurs in the mission called Green Goo. As we know, we're supposed to steal the so-called green goo. The question is, what exactly is this green goo? In our opinion, it is most likely an extraterrestrial substance that produces strong radiation. There are many answers to what is inside. There may be some microorganisms that make it possible to control the psyche of an individual of a given race. Another possibility is that the substance contains the DNA of an extraterrestrial being, which could be used to breed this kind of entity under favorable conditions. The advantage of this option is, among other things, the fact that inside the Area 69 military base, you will find special operating tables, probably used for making experiments on aliens. It is worth mentioning that the Playback FM radio station also indirectly refers to green goo. Forthright MC says there that only one creature is needed for a descendant to come into the world from an egg.
All right, y'all, it takes 2 people to make a baby, but only 1 if you hatched on from an egg.
Not only that, we are even inclined to say that this is a subtle reference to the Alien movie series because we can see there that these creatures hatch precisely from eggs that come from the queen of this species. Meanwhile, it's time to go to a place in the desert, which is a very important place from the point of view of contact with aliens, namely the Big Ear satellite. As it turns out, on the official website of the game, we can learn that a large amount of harmful radiation can be observed near the satellite. What's more, we can also hear one of the reports of the policeman being on the spot, where variable sound waves of different frequencies are noticeable. Furthermore, the policeman himself immediately starts to behave strangely, which may or may not indicate that he may have had contact with aliens.
613 satellite in Bone County picking up some weird stuff. Cock-a-doodle-doo!
Another place that is a great concentration of UFO references is the Lil Probe Inn bar, which can be found near Area 69. As you probably know, you can see many pictures related to UFOs on the walls inside the building. There are 69 of them to be precise. You know, Rockstar's favorite number. In the meantime, it's time to move on to possibly the best part of this episode, which will surely surprise most of you. A while ago, a user named Slate46 wrote an interesting comment under our episode on conspiracy theories in GTA San Andreas. Interestingly, this person mentioned something about aliens that caught our attention even more. Slate said that, allegedly in the Xbox version of GTA San Andreas, some photos from the Lil Probe Inn bar were taken in locations known from GTA San Andreas. It was very suspicious for us, so we decided to verify it as soon as possible. It turned out that Slate was absolutely right. Rockstar North, for unknown reasons, changed a lot of photos on this one particular version of the game. This is weird because on the PS2, PC, and Xbox 360 versions, there are mostly real-world photos that can be found on the internet, which is different in this case. Not only that, we have not been able to find these pictures from the Xbox version anywhere, which is why we are convinced that the gaming community has not heard about them so far, very likely apart from the people who have this version of the game. Anyway, we started guessing all locations with UFOs immediately. Therefore, currently in the attached pictures, you can see a total of 13 photos showing the locations from GTA San Andreas where aliens appeared. Photo number 9, which was taken in front of the Green Palms Oil Company, seems particularly interesting to us. Why is it so important? Well, because the photo confirms one of the Truth's theories from the mission Wear Flowers in Your Hair, which we will now play for you.
And the only reason we've been in a Cold War for the last 45 years was because snake-headed aliens run the oil business.
As you may have heard, Truth mentions that snakehead aliens run the oil business, and the found photo shows it clearly. Finally, we would like to show you a map with all the alien locations from the photos marked. As it turns out, the greatest UFO activity was recorded mainly in the area of Tierra Robada and Bone County, although single UFO visits also occurred in large metropolises of the state of San Andreas. While still at the bar, the Lil Probe Inn, it is worth adding that the CB radio gives us suspicions that the bar staff may have made contact with aliens regularly. We could even say that employees can contribute to the fact that people visiting this bar are kidnapped and handed over to aliens, who in turn conduct experiments on them. Going further, we must also mention the reference to the aliens at the SFUR station. The radio host mentions that he is an alleged alien, and we, as listeners, are headsets.
I am an alien, and you are a headset.
It's hard to deduce anything here, and the only association that popped up in our heads was the device at the back of the bar the Lil probe in. Is this connected to the CB radio in the bar near Area 69? Let us know what you think. Another alien curiosity is the Truth's few phone calls to the Area 53 show. In one of them, a man asks the host to pay more attention to details. After all, to track something suspicious, you should keep your eyes peeled. Everyone knows that.
All right, who's got a theory for me? Next!
Hey man, love the show, but when are you guys gonna start seeing the bigger picture? We're being lied to, man. And guys like you don't help much, you know? You're virtually one of them. Soon you'll know what I'm talking about.
If people could please just attempt to make sense, that's all I'm asking.
The second time, the Truth called the studio shortly after he acquired the green goo. The man talked about holding aliens in his own hands, which supports our theory that green goo contains alien DNA.
Line 18. Hello.
Okay, man. I warned you. I've been over to the other side.
What are you talking about, buddy?
I've been inside everything, seen everything. Remember the first time you did mushrooms? There are aliens living in the state. Aliens, and I've held them in my own hand. Everybody, go to the desert, beg their forgiveness.
How do you know all this?
I went to the camp. Believe what you want to believe, but ask yourself, why should I make this up?
The only thing I want to ask myself is how I can keep you off future shows.
Moreover, on the WCTR news, we can also hear an eyewitness account of allegedly seeing strange lights in the desert. This message appears after the mission The Green Saber.
The desert. Here's an eyewitness report.
I seen some strange lights over the desert. Yep, sure did.
And now, let's move on to the other radio stations where aliens and UFOs are also mentioned. For instance, the host of Bounce FM says the bridges are closed because people found something in the ground that looks like a spaceship.
All you traveling out towards Red County, you can't get there because there's a crevice in the ground that looks like a spaceship. Yeah, you got to dance your ass on out there and make the bridge open up.
In turn, on the CSR 103.9 radio station, the host mentions that there are stories about a UFO seen in the desert.
You heard all the stories about UFOs and stuff seen all over the desert? I just want to say it wasn't me. I'm a shooting star, but I stay in Vinewood most evenings.
In the case of the KDST station, we can also find a reference to aliens. This time, the host Tommy Smith assures the audience that this cannot be true, as he does not think that extraterrestrials would like to visit our planet due to the current civilization.
I was reading that apparently some strange lights have been seen over the desert. Those bumpkins think it's aliens or some crap. One question, who would travel 5,000 light years to hang out with you?
Moving on, we have the KJAH West radio station, where this time we can find a total of 2 references. Let's listen to one of them.
Did anyone else see those strange lights in the desert last night?
You weren't in the desert. You're just hallucinating, man. All this foolishness, man, is ganja. You were just probably looking at some headlights from somewhere, man. There's ganja in your head, man. It's shit.
You love trouble me and my ganja, boss.
Full of shit, man.
You love trouble me and my ganja.
Additionally, the message about strange lights in the desert can be heard on the K-Rose radio station. Here, however, things are much more interesting, as the host mentions that she had sex with a green creature of short stature last night who communicated with the woman via telepathy.
What's all this bullshit about people seeing lights and things in the desert sky? I mean, the other night, I made wild, passionate love to a little green man who spoke in thought language, but he was just from the East Coast.
Yet another radio station where we will hear the message about mysterious lights in the desert pops up in the master sounds. As in the case of the host of the CSR station, this time Johnny Parkinson also assures his listeners that he is not the culprit of these mysterious lights in the desert.
Welcome back, you're on the Master Sounds. Keep hearing about some strange lights over the deserts, whatever. Just so you don't know, it wasn't me. The love giant cannot fly. It just seems I can.
And the last radio station, which is certainly well developed in terms of the topic of this episode, is Playback FM. We can hear a total of 10 references to aliens there, so now let's listen to a few of them.
As the dust sets in, keep your eyes on the stars. They're coming, y'all. They're coming to save us. Please! These bastards are crazy up in here. You can't see anything in that fog. That's the way they want it. Want to keep us blind so we can't see the spaceships coming in.
Finally, we would like to talk about the dialogue lines in GTA San Andreas from people that are suspected of being aliens. The first pedestrian who seems to know quite a bit about aliens from another planet is the mysterious Mr. Trenchcoat. The man has a lot of lines of dialogue, but we will only play a few of them. In turn, if you would like to hear all his dialogues, in the description you will find a link to the video where you can listen to all of them.
Alien scum! The aliens are coming!
Another case is government agents with whom we fight during the Stowaway mission. It would not be easy for the average player to find references to aliens here because he would be focused on completing the mission. However, if we leave such an agent alive, we may hear some interesting sentences. Here are some of them.
This doesn't concern you. You don't know what you're messing with, idiotic mammal.
And the last person we can suspect of being an alien is a Native American. Although the man appears to be a native of the United States, many of his statements indicate that he is not from Earth at all.
Such a fragile ecosystem, heterogeneous civilization.
As you can see, the subject of aliens was not developed extensively only in GTA 5, but also in GTA San Andreas. What we are saying is that in the game, you can find a whole lot of interesting references to extraterrestrials. If you want to learn more about the conspiracy theories from GTA San Andreas, we recommend you watch the episode that is shown on the screen. In turn, under the video, you will find one of the last episodes on our second channel, which we run after hours, so to speak. In the meantime, thanks for watching, take care, and see you soon.